Hey everybody, Coach Gay here again with the Math Help channel for Groveport Madison Middle School South. Today we're going to be talking about converting customary units, and we're going to be doing that with proportions. So our first question we have up here today is how many pints are in 13 quarts? So I want to take a much larger unit of measurement and go to a smaller unit of measurement. So I'm going to expect that my number is actually going to get bigger when I convert to the pints. When I set this up, I'm going to set it up using a proportion, and I need my unit ratio. Once again, we know a unit ratio always has to have a denominator of 1. So when I'm doing this, I'm looking at my chart on page 47 of your textbook, and I'm thinking, how many pints are in a quart? When I look at that, I find that within 1 quart, there are 2 pints. 2 pints within the 1 quart. So I use this to help me get to this next step. 13 quarts, I'm going to keep quarts on the bottom. And I'm going to then keep pints on the top. So now I'm saying, how can I go from 1 quart to 13 quarts? Again, remember, to maintain equivalence with our ratios, we must multiply or divide. We can never add or subtract. So when I'm looking at this, to go from 1 to 13, I multiply by 13. So I do golden rule of math. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So I'm going to multiply by 13 on the top. 2 times 13. If I don't know that off the top of my head, I can always come over, multiply. 6, 2, 26. So there are 26 pints within 13 quarts. That is a nice way for us to be able to see that. All right, let's take a look at another problem. Let's actually go from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So now we're going to be looking at a question that's going to have us go from a smaller unit of measurement, inches, to a larger unit measurement of yards. So actually this time I should get a smaller number. So let's again set up my proportion. Once again, I need my unit ratio. So when I do that, always have a denominator of 1. I look and I see how many inches are in a yard. Well, on my table, I don't necessarily know that, but I know there are 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in 1 yard. So by simple math, 3 times 12 gives me 36 inches in 1 yard. 36 inches in 1 yard. So now I'm going to put my 432 inches on top and my unknown yards on the bottom. So now I'm saying, how can I go from 36 to 432? Well, that's one we don't necessarily have on our multiplication tables. So instead, I'm going to come down here to the bottom of the page, and I'm going to divide. 432 divided by 36. I'm going to do this because I know that division is just the opposite of multiplication. So to figure out what I multiply by, I can divide the 2 numbers out. 36 cannot go into 4, so we subtract, bring down to 3. All right, now I say 36 can go into 43. 1 time for 36. All right, I need to borrow. That becomes 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. That's left over. Drop the 2. All right, 36 can go into 72. I think about that. 36 times 1 is 36. 36 times 2 is 72. I knew that. And I get zeroed out. So I know that my multiplication has to be by 12. So once again, 1 yard times 12 gives me 12 yards. So how many yards are in 432 inches? 12. 12 yards are in 432 inches. Thank you for tuning in and watching this help video. Once again, talking about doing this with proportions. If you need any more help, either reach out to myself and Mr. Rinkus. Thank you very much for watching.